Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing great. How's everyone doing out there? What's new? How's life? What are you investing in? What's getting you the best returns? What do you think is going to get you the best returns? How high do you think the cryptocurrency market is going to go over the next few months? Yeah, we're getting down to the 2025 wire. I do not understand really how this year went by so quick. This has been one of the slowest, quickest years that I've ever experienced. There's a lot of and has been a lot of anticipation for what this market's going to bring, where things are going to go, how high the market's going to be, what's going to happen with this bill, is this going to take place, is there... And now we're like kind of here. Yeah, very fascinating time to be in the market. I guess that was the ado, so let's jump right into it. Yeah, everyone, this is all completely insane, or at least it feels this way to me. We have seen a very, very large amount of money moving into this market, and it seemingly shows no signs of stopping. I think we have essentially reached the point of super no return, just based off of everything we've been seeing, the amount of money moving into the market, these seemingly random companies who entered the cryptocurrency space less than a year ago. This has all been the same year. Doesn't it feel like this has been taking place over the course of at least a decade? No, over the course of this year, basically really like crypto. They see the future potential of it and the returns and the yield and all that, and that's basically where we are. Veteran Wall Street strategist, his name is Jordi, Jordi Visser, expects U.S. financial institutions to increase their exposure to Bitcoin before the end of this year. I guess we could have all seen that one. Signaling what could be a new wave of institutional inflows into the digital asset space. The weirdest part for me that I kept on repeating over and over in case you missed it has been that this has all been this year. Last year, we didn't really have this kind of attention on the market. We had MicroStrategy announcing that they bought $3 million worth of Bitcoin. We had the hype around the ETFs, but that wasn't like what we're seeing now. If this trend continues, I cannot imagine what the space is going to look like next year. Like, think about it. What if the prices just kind of keep on going up? What happens if we keep seeing this level of inflows into this market? You've seen what happens when we have like $300 million like flowing into it. And now we have billions of dollars constantly buying up coins in this space. I really do wonder what's about to happen. It says Wall Street is expected to increase Bitcoin allocations by the end of this year. Institutional inflows into Bitcoin are accelerating, with ETFs and public companies holding over 117 billion. That is billion with a B, $117 billion in Bitcoin. You all realize that we just got Bitcoin ETFs like a year and a half ago, right? Yeah. Visser sees bullish technical signals across crypto, pointing to broader momentum beyond just Bitcoin. We have had more than a few companies recently, in case you missed it in some form or fashion, who have announced that they're buying other coins that could be the literal precursor to a select handful of coins being like the coins to buy. I said years ago I assumed in the future, but we would eventually get to a point where we see like 7 or 8 coins, and those are like the main coins that everyone talks about over and over and over and over. He said between now and the end of the year, the allocations for Bitcoin from the traditional finance world are going to be increased. This is going to happen, he added, underscoring his confidence in the shift. And I mean, it's also not like he's doing some kind of a mystical fortune telling kind of thing. I assume if we've seen a ramp up since January, and these companies are planning on making huge amounts of money, and other companies, don't forget, a lot of companies have still announced, we have 26,000 Bitcoin, we want 210,000, we have 888 Bitcoin. We're looking to get to 10,000 Bitcoin. The buying is not stopping. Visser believes traditional players are preparing now for 2026 and sees Bitcoin's role expanding across institutional portfolios. Do not forget Bitcoin staking. It's going to be a thing. We are going to hear these companies announcing that they have Bitcoin on their balance sheets. They're going to announce we are using this protocol to stake our Bitcoin. Yearly, we are now making $118 million in passive income just from what we're getting with Bitcoin. The idea of a company holding an asset that sits there, doesn't really need to be babysat, and is making money by itself, it is a literal game changer for the financial world. Everybody wants to make money for free. His comments echo findings from a March 2025 Coinbase Ernst & Young Parthenon survey, which showed 83% of institutional investors plan to increase their crypto exposure next year. Bitwise, in a separate May report, projected up to $120 billion in Bitcoin inflows by 2025 and 300 billion US dollars by 2026. That would be a 3x. That would be a 3x. The timing of Visser's forecast coincides with renewed strength in spot Bitcoin ETFs. We've been going over that as well. There's always, I don't know why, some kind of news floating around about how afraid or scared we should be because there were outflows to Bitcoin or Ethereum ETFs. The kicker always being those outflows aren't even outflows. You can have $300 million moving in that day, and at the same time, by evening, 25 million in outflows. People focus on the outflows as something terrible as opposed to the fact that $275 million went in. Yeah, with all this news we've been getting, and I mean, at some point you have to begin to take it seriously, that this cycle might be no more. If you miss that I don't know how. It's been news like every fourth day. All these analysts are popping up talking about that the cycles might be over, that we might just be in a continual movement upward. If we essentially see a 3x in money entering this market next year, that means price go higher. That's how supply and demand works. So yeah, a lot of interesting times ahead of us. This market seems to be far more robust than any of us could have actually begun to imagine. We keep seeing these companies and corporations buying up huge amounts of crypto, and keep in mind, these are the ETFs and public companies. There are tons of private companies who are also buying up crypto as well. They're just not forced to tell us. That's the numbers go up news. And yeah, let's move on. I think a lot of next year is going to revolve around crypto yield, crypto staking. The other part I think we're going to see a bit of is tokenization. Tokenization has like kind of popped back into the discussion. We had something 2 weeks ago, somewhere around there, with a company partnering with Ripple to tokenize things. We've had a lot of real estate tokenization conversations. We've had some from banks who are announcing that they're going to be launching tokenization platforms. These are, for those of you who missed out or didn't know, these are literally NFTs. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, that's what it is. The idea would be to tokenize anything of value, and you get a specific token recognizing that one particular thing. It is non-fungible in form, and therefore it shows that this token is different than that token. Okay. The secondary part has to do with being able to fractionalize that said item, that said token, and being able to sell it in other ways. It is lightly dystopian in manner. The idea behind it actually comes down to, and I say, the need to kind of fractionalize items because people will not be able to afford the entire thing in the future. So the average person cannot afford a property, like without having to do a mortgage, and even more so in the future as property prices are expected to continue going up. The futuristic way of doing it will be to own a tenth of a property, 10% of the tokenized real estate that's on chain. Same exact thing with many other assets that we have out there. So yes, as we move further into this world of those who own assets being the ones who prosper the most, the Börse Stuttgart Group, Europe's sixth largest exchange operator, has launched a blockchain-based settlement platform designed to handle cross-border transactions of tokenized assets across the region. Yes, my friends, this is the new way of investing. I think a lot of these platforms are beginning to launch, but we are going to begin seeing them like really take off next year. We've heard this from BlackRock and Fidelity. They've also been talking quite highly of it. It kind of has to do with when you can put value on chain of everything around you. And you know it's coming. You know it's coming when you can then use that digitized value of something and put it into DeFi and begin to make a yield on it in a certain way. Like imagine, let's say you own a property. And once again, you own, I want to sell 49% of said property so that you are the majority owner of said digitized property, what have you. But you decide to say, I have to pay this, and so fee. So the other 49% you allocate to 49 other investors. They all get 1% of the property. And then you say, if you hold this property, you will receive rent, from the person who's also renting it out. However, as a caveat for owning said thing, you are required to also pay me $3.75 every single quarter for holding on to said property. People go, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. For owning this, the property sounds kind of cheap. I'm making pretty good rent. You are essentially then also making an additional return. This is kind of where things are going, guys. So make sure you pay attention and also, see what's going on. According to a Thursday announcement, the platform targets banks, brokers, trading venues, and tokenization platforms. The system supports both public and private blockchains with settlement possible in central bank money or in or on-chain cash. If you didn't see that as well, like I told you, a lot of banks have also been announcing that they're building tokenization platforms. You can Google it. Like it's going to be a big thing. This isn't something that just sounds cool. No. The idea of having a platform tokenizing these assets, especially if it's on a private chain, but also on a public blockchain, initiates a huge additional amount of cash flow, of fees for these companies as people begin to swap these assets at a moment's notice. The additional cash flow from having 5 properties, putting them on chain, dividing them in 1/100th of pieces, and having that money flow back all the time. Someone on a Wednesday buys this property. Someone on, in a month and a half, they decide to sell it. They sell it to someone else. That's a huge amount of, this is the world that we are going to be living in. I keep saying over and over, please pay attention to what's happening. I know Dogecoin is shiny. I know Pepe coin sounds like something we would have all laughed at when we were in 7th grade. Really look at where the money is going, what tokenization is, why staking is going to be so popular, why this idea of having an additional yield by digitizing your assets on chain is taking off. Banks don't just, say, okay, cool, that sounds fun and cool, I want to support the ecosystem. No, there's big money that's going to be in this. This is going to be the new economy. Everything will be on chain. The platform called Saturion, that sounds like a Pokemon or Digimon, has already been tested by local banks as part of the blockchain trials conducted with the European Central Bank. The group said its own exchange will connect first. The solution already is live at BX Digital, Börse Stuttgart's regulated DLT trading venue in Switzerland. Yeah, this is going to be big. This is kind of the next step of crypto. I think a lot of people, it's not that you would have known about this, but this has been one of the things that was kind of promised years ago, but now it's finally taking shape. We were talking about this back in 2019. Remember the idea of self-driving cars, buying your own self-driving car, using it as an Uber, and but you tokenize it, or someone else tokenizes it. So let's say some company says we're selling 5,000 cars, but we're putting it on chain, and you buy 1/5 of a car. That car's driving around all day picking up people, and you own 1/5 of it. So every time that someone taps their card or pays through the app, you are instantaneously receiving 1/5 of the actual ride that person took. This is where it's going. Yeah, very interesting times ahead. Make sure you always pay attention to what's going on. Be a part of the trend. Keep your head low. Focus on your own money. Focus on investing. Don't look at what other people are doing. I know that's a constant thing that I see other people paying attention to. It doesn't matter if the guy across the street has more money than you. You have more money than the other 5 people down the street. Keep doing what you're doing. Make money. Keep investing. Pay attention to all these crazy things that we keep hearing about, because a lot of people are going to be, shocked, taken aback. And then you are going to live in a world where someone at some point brags to you that they own 30,000 Satoshi. Yeah, I got in pretty early. They will only be able to ever hold 30,000 Satoshi because everything else is too expensive for you. They will tell you they have their hand in real estate. They will own 1/100th of a property, if not multiple properties. That will be all that they can afford. I'm telling you, that's the way that things are moving. I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. Keep doing what you're doing and keep making money and keep investing. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking To you all soon. See you.